Welcome, Claire Lyons, to the show. You've got a really fancy title, Ethical Wellbeing and Budgeting Expert. So explain yourself, please. What is it?
Hello, it's lovely to be here. Yes, well, I got to pick my own job title, which is meant I could go a little bit crazy, having had very boring job titles in the past. So I've taken a step away from traditional working world. I was a lecturer for 15 years in mental health recovery, and deciding not to go back to that job for a short time, hopefully, while my children are very young, meant that we were going to have to economise quite drastically for us to give up that wage as a family. And so I just started looking for ways to do that, ways to, support a family on a limited income or reduced income, I should say. And I couldn't really find anything. Everything just said I should do online surveys for 20p a go and shop at Poundland. And none of that sat very comfortably with me. I didn't want to shop at Poundland because I didn't feel the quality of the goods or the person that made them would be living a very happy life. So I sort of couldn't find what I wanted. So I went to sit with my values and to find out about how to live more ethically and go back to a lot of the things that I worried about more before I was a parent about the world. And I couldn't find anything there really for normal people. It was all quite extreme. I would have to, start to purify my own wee and things. And I just thought that this isn't real life. I've got 4 kids running around going to parties and being given plastic toys in the party bags. And I'm so far away from here, I don't know where to start. And so I just felt if I was struggling to find ways to look after my family and look after the planet, then probably other people were as well. So I just started sharing what I was coming across, changes we were making as a family. And it's just sort of blossomed from there, because I think a lot of us feel that worry, I suppose, of, how do I budget and keep myself, financially secure and do a lot of the environmental things that a lot of us are under pressure to do. So I thought, well, I'll just do it myself. And it's grown from there.
And when did you start this, Claire?
Well, we had our 4th baby Christmas 2015, which is an unusual time to have a baby. Probably wasn't planned very well. So yeah, that's when I had a 9-month maternity leave, but I knew fairly soon in that maternity leave I probably wouldn't go back to that job. It was a fabulous job. I loved it, but it was very high demand on me emotionally. People would disclose quite challenging topics and things, and then I would go straight to nursery and pick up a bubbly 3-year-old, and I just felt I couldn't be everything I needed for my students and everything I needed to my children. There wasn't enough of me to go round those 2 demanding roles. So I knew quite early into that maternity leave I probably wouldn't go back to that job for a period of time.
So you were being a full-time lecturer with 3 young children, so you're clearly a strong woman to keep that going. So then the 4th baby was a stretch too far with the children department, and life had to change.
I think
I get that.
I think I could have done it. I think we all have to make choices, don't we? It wasn't impossible for me to go back to that job. It was just I wasn't happy, and that's a really difficult thing to put a price on. I think I probably hadn't been happy for a little while. I think I'd been struggling with that dynamic of the sort of professional working woman and the mother, and I think number 4 was the crunch, where I said, actually, I think as well that the more children you have, the more you appreciate how fleeting those early years are. And I think I really wanted, knowing that was our last, definitely, I really wanted to make sure I didn't miss some of those really special occasions. And I think if you want to be a parent, you need to be present and have those early years. So it was never a forever sort of decision, but I did feel that the children needed more of me than they were getting.
Okay, so fabulous. Fast forward then on, how many years? Coming 3.5 years, is it?
Yeah, so we're coming up to 4.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us how your life has changed within the family in that time.
Well, I think watching the children grow is an extraordinary experience. I'm not the parent I thought I would be. I'm not the laid back hippie woman, patient woman that I dreamed. I am the woman that screams shoes about 1,000 times every morning. Like, it's surprising we have to put our shoes on to go to school. So I found it way more challenging than I thought. I'm not arrogant enough to say that. I didn't think it would be quite this hard. It's changed our family fundamentally, I would say. And what I love is that the children are so on board. We made a very conscious decision that that we wanted all of our family decisions to be made by all of us, and that was very important to us. And I love the discussions we have and the random things that the children find important that we as adults don't, and vice versa, trying to sort of help them see what we might be thinking about that's sort of not in their realm. So it's, from an ethical point of view, we've made massive changes. I didn't really appreciate, because we do it quite slowly, I don't think I'd appreciated quite how much we'd done. At the end of last year, I did a review of the whole year for my own pleasure. And actually in that year we had made some quite dramatic changes. Very simple things in terms of what we've been doing, but we don't have paper products in our house anymore. Our toilet paper is bamboo, we've got rid of kitchen towel, all those sorts of things. All of our printing paper is from Mike's office. So everything, just simple things like that. We don't have paper tissues, we have cotton hankies. So quite a big change environmentally, but hasn't particularly caused us any great drama. So when I add up all of those little things, we are actually living a much more ethical life than we were. We've got a way to go, but it's been really exciting, I think.
And it's surprising hearing the changes that you've made, the subtle changes. All we're doing really is going back to what Granny used to do. You know, we didn't have all these products years ago, did we? And then suddenly we can't live without them. So all we're doing is going back to basics, and yet we're considered a bit odd and a bit weird to even consider it, never mind implement it in our families.
Yes, it's been fascinating. I've just done some workshops with Waitrose. So they have a new unpacked range, which is the sort of zero waste shop with the dispensers. You know, you can have as many cornflakes as you like. And I was running a workshop, but I was also chatting to a lot of the customers, and it was actually the older customers were much more comfortable with it in some ways. We expect the young hipsters to be loving it, but they were like, well, this is what shopping is to us. This is, you know, we like to see the food we're buying, we like to choose the exact amount we want or need. And they were completely thrilled with the idea. And as you say, it was really for them going back to shopping as they had known as young people.
And it's how I remember shopping when my mum used to come. You know, we used to get dragged along to the shops, and Sainsbury's had the marble counters, and everybody, you know, wore hairnets. They were all manning their own, you know, the meat department, the fish department, the cheese, the biscuit department, you know, and so on. We'd go and buy so many pounds of this or ounces of that, and so on and so forth. Vegetable shops as well, so, and bakeries. Everything was independent and very simple. So I'm all for it. So you've got a website, Claire. What's your website called for the listeners?
It's www.thefrugalfamily.co.uk, and that's really just, it's initially how I held myself accountable. I struggled mentally myself because I've never not worked. I've never not contributed financially, and I had a massive issue with that of my own creation. So I sort of felt I had to justify what I was doing all the time. So it started as that, and it has grown into, I hope, quite a useful resource for people, for ordinary families to go, well, what could we do? And what is manageable? And one of the things I think that's perhaps a little unusual about what we're doing is we measure our impact every month. So we're actually saying, this is what we did, you know, by taking those 2 bags of clothes to the charity shop or whatever we might have done, we saved this much carbon, and this is how you can calculate what you're doing. Because I think for a lot of us, we sort of put stuff in the recycle bin and we assume we then hand over responsibility, if you like, for what's happening the other end. And we've quite enjoyed feeling more knowledgeable about the benefits of what we're doing. And the small, I mean, for example, we've decided not to fly for the foreseeable future, and it's hard to kind of quantify, because we're not doing it, the difference that's making. But there are lots of calculators online where you can make those sort of decisions. They can help you, and so that's one of the things I really wanted us to share, that kind of knowledge of you know, the impact you can make. Each of us can really help.
Brilliant. So what would be your top tips for a family who maybe they're in a similar situation to you? They're now going without a key wage earner, and they need to make some simple changes that are effective. So what would be the top tips that you would recommend?
I think the easiest one is to buy secondhand. We buy very little new now. Or even if you might not even have to buy it. I mean, we're part of an amazing local Freecycle group online. The things I'm looking now outside in our garden. We've got a 12-foot trampoline. We got that on Freecycle. It didn't cost us a penny, and the people getting rid of it were so delighted that they weren't going to have to pay someone to come and take this enormous monstrosity out of their garden. So buy secondhand, or get better at asking for what you need and passing on what you no longer need. The other one for me, and links back to what we were saying about shopping, is food waste. So we meal plan like ninjas now, and that has saved us a phenomenal amount of money per week. We do it now, and has also saved, you know, in terms of environmental impact, massively on our food waste. So I think those two are quite easy to do. They will save you money and they will save the world. Brilliant.
I'm a big fan of the Freecycle and on the Facebook groups and all the rest of it, and I'm forever, my house is a bit like a revolving door. I obtain things and then I give things away, and so on and so forth, and it's such a great feeling as well, isn't it, when you know that something isn't going to go into landfill, it goes to help a family. And likewise, when you receive something, it's you know, the gratitude and all the rest of it, it helps everybody, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's amazing the things that will go, because I mean, we had someone asked for some broken bike wheels. I mean, what a bizarre thing to ask for, but it was for an art project. And Mike was like, oh, I'm sure in the shed we've got a couple that we didn't know what to do with, you know, we'll put them out probably for scrap metal or something. But this person actively wanted them for an art project. And it's just, once you sort of check in quite regularly, it's a really fascinating process as well, and things you thought no one would want are actually really welcomed. And, you know, random things you need. I mean, we did a new lid for our steamer, that the handle broke off the lid, but there was nothing wrong with the rest of it. And someone said, oh yeah, I've got one of those. I mean, what a random thing. And they were delighted, obviously, to get rid of this thing cluttering up their kitchen, and it meant we didn't have to buy or replace our well-loved daily used steamer. So it's a really useful thing to get your head around, really. Wonderful.
So www.thefrugalfamily.co.uk, do people sign up to get a newsletter from you? Is it a blog? What actually is on there?
Yeah, so there is an option. I mean, you can just check in as and when. I try to put posts up twice a week of interesting things, and we have a theme each month. So this month we're all about financial planning. We're going to be talking about how do you ethically and frugally plan a funeral, which isn't the happiest topic, but one that most of us will come across at some point in our lives, and a wedding and babies and all sorts of other financial planning. So we try to have a theme. When you do go on, there is a chance to join our email list, and you get a free book. So it's like 7 starts to changing your habits, and that's just a free ebook that you get when you sign up.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And please post on my Facebook group, Claire, which is Perfect Health with Elaine Godley on Facebook. So please join that, and please post these on regularly, because members, we've got I think somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 members, so that will be a good way of sharing the love as well from you.
I'd love to. Yeah, that would be great. We're going to be at a local event soon at the end of June, which is empowering positivity in children, and that's a really exciting event to be part of at Nottingham Racecourse. There's loads going on. It's a great time to be alive, I think.
Absolutely. Well, Claire Clements and Jackie Wilson and Sue Brooks are all on the group already. So you'll be good company, and it's such an amazing event that's going on there. It's going to be really good. I'm not a child friendly person really. I much prefer big people. But the way Claire was on my radio show recently, and it sounded really fabulous. So I'm probably going to be pitching up and going to that. So I might see you there.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My daughter and I are going to be manning our stall, giving away happiness jars.
Fantastic. That's lovely. That's really nice. So I ask people on the show to suggest 2 songs that mean something special to them. And you've chosen The Feeling Won't Go Away and Madness Must Be Love. So why did you choose both of those, Claire?
Well, these are both songs about love, which probably says how sentimental I am. Madness is our song, so we had that at our wedding, and we've been married far longer than I care to disclose because it makes me feel very old. But without Mr. Frugal, I don't know where I would be in life, to be honest, and that's our special song, so I had to choose that one. The Feeling is actually the song I once played at my funeral, which sounds, again, very depressing, which isn't. It touched me, that song, when I first heard it. They're a band I like anyway. It's just about how love continues, you know, that you can't stop it and you can't diminish it. You know, it just flows throughout us, and if you show someone love, they have that forever and they can pass it on. And it just touched me, and whenever I'm feeling a bit cross with the world or cross with myself or cross with anyone else, I always try to think, you know, what feeling do I want to pass on, what feeling do I want to fill up with, and that song jingles around in my head, and I feel like, yeah, actually it doesn't go away, it's just gonna change its format and I can pass that on.
Lovely. That's a lovely sentiment. So Claire Lyons from the frugalfamily.co.uk, thank you for being on the show this afternoon. Lovely to meet you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Elaine.